Good morning, beautiful. I hope you had incredible dreams waking up in your lovely hotel room in Peri Peri. Today is day 2 of your Paris retreat. Yesterday, you had a chance to set intention for your time here and practice your evening self-love and self-compassion ritual. And now you have a chance to dig deeper into what the journey of self-love actually means. In today's session, we're gonna cover the 4 steps to increasing self-love. And the first step is mindfulness. You've already started practicing it yesterday when you were walking around Paris, when you were on the river cruise, taking in all the sights, all the smells, and really being in a moment. Mindfulness also means confronting negative thoughts with kindness and grace. So being kind with yourself when those thoughts show up. The second step to self-love is empathy. Empathy means putting yourself in other people's shoes, because studies show that you'll be more self-compassionate when you're empathetic. And when you can feel for another person and you pour your heart into a friend, significant other, family member, wanting to help them when they're having hard time. Now, self-love requires that you take the same approach when you're having hard time, to turn that towards yourself and practice that same kind of empathy. The third step to self-love is actually self-forgiveness. And maybe you drew a card that said forgiveness. What does it actually mean? We often can be our own hardest critics. So practicing self-forgiveness can give you freedom. Begin to be compassionate to your past self, the one that made mistakes, transgressed, that didn't do what your current self wished you did in the past. Forgive yourself for all that is behind you, so you can powerfully step into this next chapter of your life. And replace any negative self-talk with positive, empowering thoughts. That includes reserving any judgment. Remember, we learned something about low frequency and high frequency energies and emotional states. So be mindful of putting yourself in this high vibration state. So as we talk about self-love, we must recognize what it is and what it isn't. You see, self-love is really not about bubble baths, manicures, and empty self-indulgence. Of course, all those things are really nice and we should embrace them too. They're really great examples of self-care. But there is more to self-love. Also, self-love is not selfishness. It's also not being perfect. So what is self-love? Well, self-love is extending kindness towards yourself the same way you would towards others. Acts of self-love can include self-compassion, learning to say no, setting boundaries, and honoring yourself, prioritizing your needs, and making time for yourself. But why would we even bother practicing self-love cultivating it, and creating habits that support it? Well, there are many benefits to loving yourself. One of them is that when you love yourself, you crush doubt. So take a look at day one. What were you ready to release? If self-doubt was on your list, then self-love is the answer. Because 1 in 2 women feel more self-doubt than self-love. And you have a chance to change that statistic during this week in Paris. Another benefit of loving yourself is self-respect. You see, 60% of women report that they wish they had more self-respect for themselves. We can change that statistic right here, right now in Paris. And what happens when you have more self-respect? When you crush doubt, you are able to finally seize those opportunities that lay ahead. You're able to say yes to opportunities that show up in your life. You're able to say, yes, pick me. Yes, I'm qualified. Yes, I believe in myself. You're able to conquer that imposter syndrome. And that's how you start building that resilient mindset. So the more self-love you have for yourself, the more confident you will feel in your ability to overcome any adversity or challenges that show up in your life. And today is your chance to take inventory of how you currently show yourself love. So be ready for your Lesson 2 workshop over breakfast, where we're gonna be talking about how you currently show yourself love and where do you struggle to prescribe self-love. And today will be all about bridging the gap and really practicing that self-compassion. And our daily activity, well, we're gonna actually go on the top of Eiffel Tower, and we're gonna go to the top of Montmartre, the highest hilltop neighborhood in Paris, so you can feel like you're on the top of the world, so you can powerfully declare a new future for yourself, and you can start taking steps towards it by crushing doubt, releasing that imposter syndrome, and practicing self-compassion, kindness, and self-love. You've got this. Let me leave you with this quote by Barbara D'Angelo. Women need real moments of solitude and self-reflection to balance out how much of ourselves we give away. Sending you love.